What's up, geniuses? Have you had some mozzarella crusted chicken with blistered tomato? That sounds painful, but also delicious. And potato wedges? Because that's something that I ate recently when I was using HelloFresh. And by using HelloFresh, I mean I was eating everything because I'm a growing boy. Have you seen these gains? You guys can get as big as me when you go to HelloFresh.com/genius16. Get up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts when you use our link below. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring the top of this episode. Pull up, Greg. Hey guys, welcome back to the Genius Bar. All right, we're not playing no more games around here. We are at full-on war, and things are gonna get messy. You hear this music, John?
I'm
you hear
just
this music, Jonathan?
happen. I don't even know what you're doing.
We got 2x, double the Johns.
What is dude, did you get like Heath Ledger Joker hair from the dollar store? What happened?
I'm gonna make this XLR cable disappear.
Okay. Everybody,
Okay.
welcome
Hey,
Jonathan Morrison to the
guys?
show.
Woo! Hold on, I need the applause sound effect. Woo!
Yay! Yay! Jomo's here, everybody!
Jonathan Morrison.
Dang, what's up, guys? That's
Hey.
You like that intro?
a spicy intro.
Dude, I'm surprised
Jonathan,
he didn't just turn around and go back. Just like close the window, go home.
Just shut
I
his
would.
mouth.
There was no warning. Sam did not warn us that the show was going to happen. Or this
I'm just
intro.
kind of surprised there's a shirt on. You know, it felt very WWE. And
Yeah, you should have committed all the way, dude.
You know, I had an intrusive thought today. I was like, do I just go full nude? But then I was like, I don't want Jonathan Morrison for that to be his first thing he ever sees.
I
and
know.
the last thing he ever sees.
Jonathan, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I actually showed my asshole. We censored it, but I don't know what compelled that to happen, but it did. So
interesting.
Interesting. That's the word he used. Yeah, it was interesting. That's the word.
I didn't like that bit, for the record. I was very uncomfortable.
No,
How do I? Where's the Genius Bar HR? How do I contact them?
It's actually Jomo here. Direct any complaints to him.
Oh, damn. How long have I been?
The whole time.
You've been on retainer. You sent him the check, right?
Yeah. No, I think the mail's a little slow. Send it by pigeon, so he'll get the check sometime.
Got you. So there's a reason that we've got this sound effect. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Hold on. There's a reason why I'm much more serious. There's a reason that I'm dressed like this, and I just gotta jump right into it. If you're wondering what that intro was, if you're wondering why I'm like this, guys, it's because we're not playing games anymore. You might have seen if you follow us on Twitter at Genius Barcast that we have an enemy. We have one common enemy.
And it is Jonathan Morrison.
No, it is not. It is not Jonathan Morrison. We love him.
He's the good guy.
We love him.
He's the good guy in everybody's movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an enemy.
What is this?
And his name is GregsGadgets. I'm just
my
going to say it straight
God,
up.
Dude.
I'm going to say it straight up.
All right,
this is Genius
Can
Court.
we go back?
Court is now in session.
No, I can't. Show's canceled. What about if it's just okay, Jonathan? It's just you and me. Let's just do the show together.
Court is not.
We'll
you can't
save it.
mute me. You can't mute me, bitch.
I can
Court
mute
is
you.
now in
Actually, yes,
session.
I can.
No, you can't. Why are you having my screen so zoomed
I don't know
in?
what's going on there. Let's
Dude, zoom it out. Can you zoom it out,
there you
please? Yeah, thank you. All right, this is a special investigation by me, Sam Kohl, and this is going to be a short little. Okay, so here's the thing. GregsGadgets is on trial for a number of things. Let's go to the first charge. All right.
Okay.
And I guess I should provide context here. Can you put it back on my camera real quick? Just so I can explain.
Yeah, no problem.
So GregsGadgets is this Apple YouTuber. He thinks he's hot stuff. You know, I censored myself there out of the little respect I have. And he's been saying all kinds of things like Jonathan Morrison likes him better. Jonathan Morrison is my best friend. I want to be Jonathan Morrison. And it's like, okay, this is a bit much, man. Just stick to your shitty clickbait videos and let's move on. But then on the show, he took it a step too far.
Okay.
And for anybody wondering what's up, I have a short clip that I should have had prepped. I'm going to be honest. But they've been saying some stuff about us.
Okay.
And Can you guys stall for a second while I find this clip real quick?
No, I'm gonna keep the camera on you and make everybody watch.
Please, this is bad content.
We'll just edit it, Sam. Chill.
The only
I'm so
thing I need
stressed.
context on is what the costume is exactly.
Yeah, is that is that just something you had, or like is that a special order for Greg?
The jacket's by Ye.
Who is that? Kanye? Is that who you're saying?
Yeah, it's by Ye.
Okay, you didn't answer the question though. What's going on with the hair?
So I tried to find like the like wig, like old Englishman, like white hair, and they were all sold out around
close.
me. Well, this was the next best thing, man.
I mean,
right,
it kind of looks like your hair. You could pull that off, I think.
Have either of you seen Sons of Anarchy?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I haven't.
So, Prosser, you can in the next tab over, you can Google Jax Teller.
Okay.
Or Sid Vicious, because I feel like he's going for one of these two, and I can't tell.
Sam, are you Sid Vicious?
I feel Sid Vicious, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have the clip? Do we have to do this? Can we just
Yes,
do literally
we do.
anything else, Sam?
No, really quick, I got to show this clip because this is our origin. This is literally my Joker story.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
So if the geniuses are like, maybe he's overreacting, this was not an attack on me. This was an attack on us, geniuses. Let's play the clip.
The Genius Bar has been released on podcasting platforms. The quality of life for everyone in the entire world has gone way downhill.
Wow.
Way downhill.
That's offensive.
Can we
about
sue
it.
him?
All the
We are.
awfulness that is in our world right now, all the disease, the war,
Okay. We donated $1,000 to Ukraine.
all of this happened after
I mean, I
Genius
can't
Bar podcast launched. It's the Genius Bar.
Wow. Well, as you can see, he said more. That was just a brief clip.
Can you believe this? I was laughing, but I was not laughing because of what he was saying. I was laughing because I'm so angry. When you're so angry, that's just the reaction that happens. You laugh. I wasn't laughing because Greg's funny. That wasn't it. It's because I'm mad.
Well, it sounds like you're covering for yourself. So here's what. Go ahead, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just sent you guys a couple links to check out.
Oh God.
In the private chat.
In the private chat.
So here's the thing. Here's what Greg's on trial for, real quick. We've got a few charges in front of us.
Sam, we don't need to. Okay.
He's done some bad things. Number one, he thinks he's Tim Cook. Look at his thumbnails. There's more Tim Cook in these than Greg's Gadgets. What's up with that? I mean, really, man? I know Tim Cook's a great guy, but you got to clickbait that hard, brother? All right,
Way
next
to go,
up.
Greg. Can we,
by the way,
everyone
these get
go flag his
more...
channel?
No, don't do that.
No,
don't do
flag
that.
it.
I mean, I'm not going to say what
flag
you should or
the
should
channel.
not do.
We
Free
need to take
speech.
it down.
I'm Elon now. Number two, Greg is a major copycat. This is something that no one else on YouTube does. It's only Greg. And as you can see, he's a copycat. That's a real photo that was taken last night by his significant other. We have deep cuts in his.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, all of it. By the way, all of his success siphoned off me. Do you notice any differences in these top videos here? iPhone hidden features 2 years ago. Oh, tips and tricks 1 year ago. Very interesting. More hidden features 1 year ago. More tips and tricks. Very interesting. It's almost like his entire existence has been based off of iUpdate. Very interesting, if I don't say so myself.
How are you letting this happen, Sam?
Well, I'm gonna get to what
do the Johnny Depp thing.
That's been fascinating to watch. Number 3. This is supposed to say 3. Sorry, this is a PDF I made earlier. He's a bit of a hypocrite. He's making fun of all the people making iPhone 14 videos. iPhone 14, this can't be happening. Also, I need to talk to Jonathan about this because I also have beef with him.
The real reason we put him on the show.
But he's making fun of people making iPhone 14 videos. You guys can read this at home if you're paying along. Oh, what do you know, Greg? What do you know, Greg? I didn't expect this one. Neither did I. Neither did I, Greg. This is it. What is it?
Going back to the copycat thing, didn't Jomo post that first and then he literally just copied his tweet?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I actually copied Greg on that.
No, you did it first.
No. This is Greg. Moving on to the next charge. Wow, look at this nice family portrait. This is Greg with Justine. That's a nice photo, right? It's a nice home. This was taken on a recent trip out to the California region. What if I told you that he gave Justine a blood clot? I mean, this is heinous. This is heinous.
He tried to
This
kill
was-
Justine.
Just days after the interaction. Now, you can't see where his hand is, but it's right on her shoulder where she got the clot. It is disgusting. Justine, our dear, dear friend, obviously got her name from me. All cool, you know. I'll accept the check later.
Yeah, she's a copycat
You know,
too.
absolutely shocking. By the way, this is a Genius Bar exclusive. We obtained the medical record. Would you look at what we found? It was GregsGadgets in her veins. This is disgusting behavior. Look at that, and look at how proud he is. I've never seen a prouder blood clot in my life. Okay? I mean, that is heinous. All right?
Oh, no.
Look at that, and he's even showing his butt as well. There's kids that watch this show. Greg, come on,
Sam,
man.
what did you do? I mean, Greg, what did
truly,
you do?
Truly,
Okay, no,
the
this slide
most
does no. This slide
horrible
no.
charge is he is an iPad mini apologist.
No, this one doesn't count.
It is. Look at him. Look at how he looked at it.
No,
He's like,
I
I'm
will
sorry,
allow
you're
it.
bad. I'm sorry, you're a bad product.
No, I'll
at
allow
that.
this one. This is okay. Thank you,
No.
Greg.
Therefore, in summary, as you can see, hanging out. Well, actually, Travis MCP is a good guy, but you know, lot of sketch stuff going on with Greg. He is guilty on all charges. Everybody,
Guilty on all charges.
he is guilty on all
I'm
charges.
sorry, this is the only
crowd-
soundbite I have, and it sounds like he gets an award, but he's actually very bad, and he's guilty.
He's guilty. GregsGadgets. I hereby sentence you to 100 years, no clickbait.
Okay.
Bye-bye, sweet, sweet ad revenue.
Okay. Oh,
All
click
right,
on
I'm done.
click on the link that I sent you, Sam.
What link?
This is very important. I texted it to you.
Oh, I don't have that on my PC.
You're worthless.
What is this?
That's Sid Vicious, I think.
Is it the
This
right?
is what I'm supposed to
Yes.
look like?
That's Jax Teller.
That's yeah. I knew that. That's Jax Teller.
Yeah.
The other one.
No,
is
put it
Sid
close to your face.
I mean,
You
I
are-
will say the six-pack abs pretty close, but
yeah. It's pretty much the same person all around, really.
Okay, I got to take some of this off. You guys make yourselves at home, and okay, that was my part of the show. I'm done now, and this is actually Genius Bar. I'm just gonna undress a bit because I'm getting a bit hot.
Okay,
I'm not a
I
judge
should keep it
anymore.
on you the whole time while we talk.
Please don't.
Anyway, yeah, Jonathan, I'm on a Mac now.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm just gonna let him get undressed back there. Yeah,
As
I was on Windows forever, and I was one of those people that was like, I can't even try a Mac because all the software that I use is on Windows, and I was like afraid. I didn't want to leave the familiarity of Windows until one day my PC blew up, and I just had this misconception that like Macs, you know the whole Windows thing, like Macs don't have the specs, they can't do it. My PC blows up. Best Buy doesn't have anything. I have like an episode due the next day, and I didn't have anything. So I think Best Buy had one Mac Mini in stock, and then one Mac Mini, and that was the first thing I tried, and it did everything I needed it to do, and it was like the base model,
Right.
and I've never looked back.
Preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, I bet. So when do you think Apple's going to start sending me free stuff like you?
I don't know. I think there's a misconception there too. The funny thing is Apple actually doesn't send free stuff. They are one
What?
of the, like, probably the company, that really is the hardest and most, just on the ball with that in terms of like, there's no money exchanged. There's everything specifically a loan, and in my time specifically, they've never just given or gifted me anything, and it's always specific, like very strategically a loan. And
They give it to you for an amount of time.
yeah, I mean, the thing is like there's the argument, especially with the stuff I do. I don't think there's necessarily because the counter argument is like, oh, well, you have it early, so that's the same as payment. But at the end of the day, especially the stuff I'm doing, I'm not necessarily even hitting embargo at this point. So
That's fair.
Which I love. I love that you don't care about that stuff. You're above it now.
It's not even that, man. It got tough, and it became a life sucking, cycle of just embargo after embargo after embargo after embargo, and it'll just suck your soul. And I think to an extent, I think it kind of dried out the fun in the tech space.
I meant to ask, does not just the products and the embargoes, but is your soul sucked out of the tech space like entirely right now? Are you over it?
No, actually, I'm freaking enjoying tech probably more than I have in a long time, and I don't think I've ever been this excited creatively, and maybe ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm freaking stoked.
That's
and
awesome.
Very,
what does that feel like?
It feels great, man. Like, I think there's been so many instances where I've kind of just turned a camera on, and honestly, I have, unboxing footage, not necessarily unboxing in the traditional sense, but I have stuff documented back to when M1 came out, and I've kind of just been accumulating things over the past few years and quietly working on stuff, and more so just trying to enjoy it and make stuff. And it's weirdly come full circle where I think that the tech side of things will kind of just evolve bigger and better than ever because of everything that I've been up to. But yeah, it's not fun to just, tie your mental sanity to the tech cycle, which I'm sure you clearly know.
No, Sam and I are very happy. Aren't you, Sam? Aren't you enjoying it more than ever, Sam? You're creatively flourishing. Sam's
Sorry,
just
I
looking
just had
around.
a vision that I was happy, and I almost felt something.
I don't want to say. I think I say on the show often, but I don't want to say that I hate it. You just feel trapped sometimes.
Sure.
I'm in a box. The internet. Why are my lights flashing? You see that?
Because you're in a box, man.
It's the tech god.
Yeah.
Make something else.
Don't you dare speak badly of it.
Jonathan, I think that's really interesting that you bring that up. Obviously, I would love pointers on how to get Apple products early.
Oh my God! It took him what? We've been recording for 18 minutes. There it is.
Me.
No,
how do I get Apple products, Jonathan?
No, but I'm not you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm allowed.
We can talk about it. Like, there's not any magic tips. I think you just
know.
You just put the one thing I will say. I think Apple appreciates people who make stuff, because getting back to Apple at its strength and its core, even back to the Steve Jobs days, right? Like, I think one of the things he was most proud of was people making stuff with their stuff. So that's maybe the one thing I will leave anybody with. Is
you got to put your album out, Sam.
We're working on it.
Yeah, whatever it is, though, just make stuff, and
yeah. No, Jonathan, that like all joking aside, I like to be hard on the people that get products early. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard
Sam
the show.
Sam is very salty.
It all comes from like a point of jealousy. Anger. I feel like for me, where I'm like, I want to get products early and I want to do these things. But of like all the people that do like get early access to stuff, and a lot of the reason I want it it's not like a views thing. I'm just like, man, I just want to like touch, I want to see it. I just want to use it myself and like put it in my workflow, and be like, oh, I've got it before other people. Like, just because I've grown up, like, obviously my channel is all about Apple. Like, that's just the one thing I care about. Like, I don't cover Android because I don't care about it. But I've always appreciated about your videos. Like one that just sticks out to me is when I think the iMac Pro came out. Was that when you had that desk outside for that video shoot? I just remember seeing that, and I was like, that's cool. Like, I've always appreciated how you are. Like, if anybody should get them, that you are showing how it's actually, you're showing how to use it. It's not like an unboxing, and like that's a lot of like what I get off on. I love just like watching the same 6 shots of like it coming out of the box. I'm like, dude, this is sick. I could do this all day. But I love that you really show, especially more recently, you're like, oh, this is how creatives are using this new thing. And I think that's a unique perspective that should be a launch day video that gets to get put out because you had access to it. Like I really appreciate that, you put in the extra work to not just do the bare minimum. And I think that's a big appeal for your channel.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And the funny thing with that story actually is I don't know if I've publicly talked about that experience, but I got slammed for that. And the part behind the scenes is that was one of the weirder embargoes where I think we might have had 24 hours to do something with it.
Damn.
And like for me, the stuff that I'm trying to do, there's no way in blue hell that I'm going to do anything that I want to do in 24 hours, with the exception of maybe an unboxing. So I think, I was trying to get something out with the intent of doing something a little more in depth, but I know that was especially right around the time where it was a little bitter. Not that it's not now, but that was a lot of like, I remember specifically there was an older tier of reviewers and bloggers who were just like furious at me for that. Like, and that was maybe their first impression of me and not knowing stuff that I did. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I can't even say at this point that I'm doing it for anything but like, the pure concept of trying to just enjoy it. And I know sometimes that probably comes at a detriment to myself, but I like I said, I've just had to work hard mentally to get to a place of being creatively happy over, artificially happy, I guess, because the chasing the views game is not fun,
It's the worst.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And listening, guess all joking aside, I listened to the GregsGadgets Gadget Cast with Travis MCP today, and I was trying to be angry the whole.
Travis is the best. We don't listen.
Yeah,
for
Travis is the best. We don't listen for. But no, it was what you were talking about a lot, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited we get to have him on our show tonight. Number one, because we're better objectively, but number two, because you were hitting on a lot of things that I've been feeling, and like people that have watched the show know I've sort of been. I had a conversation, I FaceTimed like Luke Miani yesterday, the day before, for like 1 or 2 hours, just talking about a bunch of stuff, and he sort of just reminded me that like it's okay for me to make a video that's not a news video. Like I should make a review video if that's what I want to do, and maybe it doesn't get views at first, but it also takes time to like build up an audience for that again. And long story short, what I'm saying is that yeah, like chasing the views is not sustainable ever. So you're right.
Also, just at the end of it too, it's the quality of views, right? Like to me, it was the Mac Pro video that I did that was probably, aside from some of the stuff that I've been working on, that was probably one of the videos I was most proud of ever. Which was a video that I really wasn't in, but and I think that video did pretty solid, right? It was like just under 700,000 views. But to me, like that was way cooler than a video that blew up and did 2, 3, 4, 5 million views, because every comment like meant something. And I would rather just make that thing that makes someone else want to make, another thing.
Yeah.
Like I talked about, and at the end of it, it's just, and I think there was a similar experience where when the original SE, like the new modern SE came out, where I happened to just be early on it, and the video did well. It's like 1.5 million or something, right? But it was a classic YouTuber thumbnail, and it did well, but it just left me empty. And that I think that was part of a lot of this shift. And like, what are we doing this for?
Huh.
Yeah, John, what is that like to not do a thumbnail for views?
Yeah, that's literally my entire life, bro. But listen, we got people to please. We got an ad team to please. It's like it's a machine, and I'm just a working part of the machine now.
Hey,
Sure.
I'm not even a creator. I just am. I just exist. I just noises at the camera, get paid. That's what I do now.
I want to keep on with this conversation, but I'd also love to talk about money. I'm sorry, but we're.
Which ad are you going to make us do, Sam? Don't worry.
I'm loving the conversation. It's just we have obligations, like you were
I
just
know.
saying, bro.
Okay, don't worry, Jonathan. Let's interrupt this very meaningful converation to talk about making money as a YouTuber. Go ahead, Sam. Who's first today?
Up first today. It's Stamps.com.
Stamps.com, our favorite.
We love Stamps.com.
Stamps.com. Oh, dude, I left my scale upstairs.
I know, mine's in my car. I just got it the other day.
Wait, you just now got your scale?
I think so. Yeah,
well, if you're listening or watching the show, you can get your scale this week. If you go to Stamps.com and use code GENIUS, you get a 4-week free trial, free postage, and a free scale from Stamps. I don't think any other company that we work with gives that much away for free.
It's so good because for more than 20 years, Stamps.com has been indispensable. Do you know what that means? It means unable to be dispensed. For over 1 million businesses, Stamps.com gives you direct access to the post office and UPS shipping service you need from your computer, and discounts you can't find anywhere else. Can confirm there are discounts you can't. 30% off UPS up to, and 86% up to 86% off UPS, John.
That's pretty crazy. Oh, by the way, I'm seeing 40% off post office rates.
That's a lot, man.
That's a lot of percentage off. Stamps.com, code GENIUS. Not only do you get all those percentages off, you also, if you listen to the show, don't say we never gave you nothing. 4-week free trial at Stamps.com, free postage, and a free scale. And of course, thanks to Stamps.com for supporting the show. Use code GENIUS. That's us.
Guys, stop mailing and shipping. Wait, I said stop. Start mailing and shipping with Stamps.com and keep more money in your pocket every day.
Anymore.
Sign up with promo code GENIUS for a special offer, John, that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and digital scale. No long-term commitments. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top, and enter code GENIUS.
Thank you, Stamps.com. Okay. Jonathan Morrison, he has returned.
Please go back to the exact same thought you were on before I rudely. Oh, he's clapping. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for applauding our poor performance.
Hey, man.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to ship stuff.
Something that I want to touch on, because I think John and I were discussing, just like the idea of, right, like the chasing of the views and like needing to please sponsors and feeling trapped because if we try something new, it might not get views and then it looks bad. Like, I guess I'm asking for me, like, and I'm not asking you to get into the weeds here or like say specific numbers or anything, but like financially, like if you've taken a big step away from YouTube, like what is your income stream like now? Like, are you still actively making money? Are you chilling on the work that you've put in historically? Are you making money off of like the music streams? Because that was something that I was really curious about, and I hope you can provide some perspective on.
Sure. I'll start with the notion of I hate money, honestly. And
Don't we all?
Like, for real though, like I hate the idea of what it is. I think for me, money and making a living is a means to take care of people that I care about and the ability to do cool things in terms of, creatively. And it's the means to do something for me. And I know I've probably left a bit on the table because of how I am. And, I think if I was handed $1 billion, I would, give it all away or burn to the ground or something because it would make me feel uncomfortable. But, at the end of the day, I understand that notion of this is our livelihood and this is our, way to put food on the table for people, and there are people to appease. And I think, I've personally just found a way to do things, I'm not, I'm probably one of the more boring people you'll ever run into in life in terms of just like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't want a Lambo, I don't want exotic things. My favorite things really are just making stuff in music and video. So, outside of just the wanting gear, right? Like I don't need things that are crazy. And I think I'm just at the point in my life where, you could give me $1 billion and it wouldn't make me any happier. So I think it's trying to figure out what exactly you need and, doing, enough that it makes sense, and also knowing that, hey, there's probably a short-term hit now for the greater good of the future, which I think will pay off. And
Yeah.
I feel like for me particularly, it's probably been 3 years of just really hard work, kind of quietly
Mhm.
behind the scenes. And it's gotten to the point where actually, music it's not a huge source of income, but it's becoming a source of income, which is fun to say. Also,
And you're
Oh,
making
yeah.
music,
yeah. So
which is fucking cool.
yeah, it's
That's
definitely
super cool, man.
the coolest thing. So I don't know. I mean, I guess just being diverse enough to make sure you have a little bit of something coming in from different places, and
Yeah.
trying also not setting your life up to be impossible to sustain, because as you do this more and you make more, it's very easy to elevate things and to elevate your cost of living and the things that you need. So I think that's probably my use case, right? Is
Yeah.
just simplifying what I do and don't need. And I don't need a lot outside of just making stuff.
Yeah. I mean, is that what you're doing? Would you say that's what you're doing now? I mean, you've completely converted your office, it looks like, at least from what I've seen on Twitter and stuff, to creating music.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the forefront of things right now, but in a really full circle way, I think it just has fueled the tech to come back in a cooler and bigger, better way. And I think the biggest thing for me is I've just found true mental peace with YouTube, which it was hard,
I want that. Can I have some?
because it's rough. And I think, and I've talked about this before, and I think I have something coming out, on this subject, because I feel like it's a louder conversation than ever, the terms of struggling and views. And the converse messed up side of that is I think the audience is trained to know that's a point of hurt
Mhm.
for creators, to where it's like, oh, like your channel's dead, or oh, what happened to the views, or
Mhm.
people use that as an insult
Yeah.
to take a shot at you, which we're just trained to live that way. And
Or the thing that I refuse to look at when I first wake up is that right at the top of the dashboard where it's like your video's X amount out of 10. Dude,
right,
that will ruin my life for a day if I wake up and it's like 8 out of 10. Why though? It's just like it means absolutely nothing and I won't remember next week.
yeah.
Dude, it
And
means everything.
I
That's the problem.
I think the thing is, it's a form of balance, right? Because so much of the conversation is that, and numbers and analytics. And
Yeah.
some people can be obsessive to the point where they have 10, 15 alternate thumbnails and 10 to 15 alternate titles, and like that shit would drive me crazy. And it doesn't also mean that you don't have a backup plan or a backup
Yeah.
thumbnail or a backup title, right? But you can't let it rule your life. And it was to the point before where it's like you launch a video, then you have analytics open and you're watching the minutes
Yes.
per the views per minute, right? Like, and you can know more or less, is this video going to tank or not? And the messed up part with the algorithm is if the video doesn't perform strong out of the gate, more or less, that video is going to go to the back and get taken out for
Yep.
good, right? And more than likely not coming back. And it's just it can just be taxing on you. So I think for me, the music stuff was helpful in the terms of perspective. And like I said, you might have a video on that side that does 50,000 views, and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing because it's meaningful views,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's something that I really care about. So I think that's probably something I would just hope people can find, is find what makes
Yeah.
you happy. And it doesn't mean that, look, okay, you're gonna just be you can't, obviously you can't just like say F it, right? Like there's a balance. And I think that's just my mentality with life in general, right? Is there's so
Mhm.
much nuance and little curves and things in between, where it's not necessarily one way or the other way. It's finding the best of everything, because you do have to play the game to an extent, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yes.
you have to play the game.
Yeah, I'm at a point.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I've talked with Sam about this, but I have been thinking a lot about like what becomes of me when I'm tired of this. Like, and I think it ties into what you said about how we sort of we hold that stuff too close, and we make those numbers us almost, and it's such a personal thing. And I've been thinking, like, this is Front Page Tech is going on season 10, so I've been doing it for 10 years, and it's not the same as doing YouTube for 10 years. Because, I mean, altogether, I've done YouTube for maybe 15, 16 something years, but Front Page Tech has been a thing for 10 years. And it's not like I've had like amazing creative freedom with that over 10 years. It's been the same thing. I have made effectively the same show for 10 years. I'm on episode like 1128, and it's the same fucking show. And currently, I love it. Like, I still find ways to. I think the reason it works because the style adapts, and I'm willing to try new things for the audience, but also for me because I get bored. And currently, I love it, and currently, I'm excited about it. But I have been. And there's been many times throughout the year every year, where I feel like an existential crisis of, oh God, do I care as much as I used to? And what happens when I stop caring? My biggest fear is losing touch with what the audience wants, because I've seen so many creators that I really love, like favorite creators that were with YouTube when it first started that I sort of grew up with, that still try, but they've completely lost touch, and it's like awkward and cringy, and they don't fully understand like how things work anymore. They're trying to do the same thing they did 10 years ago, and it doesn't work. And that's my biggest fear, is to be in front of the audience and make myself look like a fool. So I want to quit before then. And it's like, I mean, I'm serious. It's not that I want to retire next year, but it's like, and maybe not even retire from YouTube, but when does Front Page Tech, the show, end? Like, when is too many? When has it been too many episodes? And then what do I do after that? Because Front Page Tech was my hobby that sort of evolved into paying my bills, and now my entire life is like wrapped around that brand. It's not John Prosser; it's wrapped around that. So what happens when I stop that? What makes me happy after that? That's the problem. Where it's so I like music. I've been a drummer for almost 20 years, but I don't even do much of that anymore because Front Page Tech has like completely swallowed any sense of fun that I have. And it's so like the show
Bro,
is
I'm
so
gonna
hard.
cry.
I know the show is so hard to make. It's like yes, I know. It's like every fucking
this is
hour, dude.
heartfelt.
I wake up and I start writing the show, and I go to sleep after it's uploaded. I have worked 24 hours on a goddamn episode, and it's just, and you do that over and over again until when? When is it? There's going to be a day where I wake up and it's not fun anymore, and I don't have a fucking backup plan. There's not like at least you're like, dude, I'm gonna fucking sport out my office. It's music now, dude. I'm gonna be like, well, I don't know what's on Netflix, bro. I have no idea. I don't know what comes after this. I would love to find that sort of mental peace that you talked about, like after this. By the way, to people listening and watching, Front Page Tech is not over. It sounds like I'm like finding a way to end it in like a couple weeks. No, I'm gonna still do it, but it's like, for how long? Right now, I love it, but there's going to be a point where I don't love it, and then how do you tell the audience that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of it, you got to take care of you first, right? As weird as that sounds, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe start thinking of that, and figure
Can I
out
just
what.
come work with you?
Sure.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
in
I mean,
California.
that's the thing, though, right? Is like I think for me, I've gotten to the point where with a lot of the things, it almost feels unreal with how it's been lately, just because it's stuff that I wanted and stuff that I've been working at for essentially years.
Mm-hmm.
And, so because you feel crazy at times, like,
Yes.
you, like you have the trust and you have the vision, and it doesn't make it any easier, but it hasn't been easy to get to this point because, I've had people call me crazy, and it's like, people are like, "Oh, well, you have a tech channel that does pretty okay. You should do that, and you should put all your energy into that. And why are you doing these things? That doesn't make sense. You're kind of dumb." And so to have that like mental, I don't know if it's stupidity or just blind faith or trust or I don't know what it is, right? But to figure out where you want to be and to focus on that for a long period of time is very challenging, and one of the more challenging things for me.
That's what I want to do though. Like you kind of started doing what you really wanted to do while everyone wanted more of you. Like you were like tippy top. It's like MKBHD, Lou, and you are you've been around, in Austin too. You've been around forever, and everyone still loves your work and looks forward to it. I want to stop doing front page tech when I'm at that level, and everyone wants more. I don't want everyone to like hate front page tech and be over it, and then I'm like still doing it, out of touch and awkward. I want to quit and do something else while everyone wishes I was still doing that other thing, because I don't want it anymore. I want to do something else, and I'm doing it for me. I want mental peace like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you can find it, and I hope everybody can find it, because it's not, this game is rough, it's not for the weak of heart, and it will tear you up if you're not ready for it,
Sam, are you quitting?
Dude, I don't know.
He just, why you just over there quiet thinking? You look so sad too. Are you gonna quit?
No. Well, maybe.
I feel like Jomo comes on and then we're all like, bro, what are we doing? Let's just live on a beach somewhere and play music.
No, I don't know. It's one of those things where I've been personally frustrated. For context, because I know like Jonathan hasn't been, right with us in the chair every week over the past few weeks, but I something that I was talking about, recently, like in my personal lives, is that I like objectively have been working the hardest I've ever worked, and I believe I've created some of my best content I've ever made in the past 2 months. But it's performed worse than anything I've put out in the past 2 years. And I think it's like, that's the thing that's eating me. It's not even the fact that it's not getting as much views as I thought it would. It's the fact that like I've worked less hard in the past on objectively less entertaining and not as good content, and it's performed better. And that's been the thing that's been like eating my little brain away like a little amoeba, because I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I've been like, and in general in my life, like people close to me know that like I've had a huge turnaround in my life in the past, literally, basically to the day. Like my rock bottom was basically a year ago to this day. And I say that joking, but I also say that dead fucking seriously. And it's just weird that like now that mentally I'm in the best spot I've been in years, and like financially I still am in like a good spot. It's like the present day is just like a kind of a jumbled mess right now, and that's been the thing that I'm not saying this like I don't want pity or like, oh, you can, like I'm just describing like how I'm feeling as far as just like I'm curious if you've gone through that, Jonathan, where you feel like you feel like you're at your peak creative, but like there's this thing that's not validating it. Like you feel that, but there's this external thing that's like, no, you're not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, man. Like, and it's there's probably a couple things I would actually like to break down from that, because I think it's human nature to feel that, and like you said, I don't think you're here looking for a pity party. I think the reality is all of us feel like that at times, and
Sure.
There's always a voice, a person, a comment, and there's always a reason to feel that. And I think it's the classic case of the grass is always greener and hindsight is 2020. The number one thing I took out of that is I'm just glad you're mentally the strongest, because who knows, if you are at your lowest, but you are also going through this now, maybe you'd be worse off than all
That's
time.
true.
True, man.
But yeah, I mean, we've all been there, right? Like you put your heart into something and it doesn't perform like you would have hoped, and then you do a video in an hour and it blows up,
Yeah.
But that's the exact conversation that I had with you earlier, right? Where it's like iPhone SE, 1.5 million, 2 million views versus the Mac Pro video, and the crazy part is, is that video, the Mac Pro video that did 600,000 or 700,000 views. Like, there's people now that would shit on that and be like, "Oh, what happened? You know, not even a million views, bro." Like,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
that's the reality of it. And you know, I think the part that I would hope you can get to is, you know, I would say, before I get to that comment, I would say a lot of that, I think, is the rat race of building up the content that you feel like you have to do, like before, where you've built up this thing that you have to meet, or this style or this title, and then when you want to do your best work, no one cares, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
But ultimately, I think you consistently need to get to a point where you're happy with the stuff. And I've had that argument and that conversation throughout my entire career of doing this, where people are like, "Well, why do you edit your videos? Why don't you just get editors? Why don't you do more videos? Why don't you?" Because it's like, no, I want to do it, and I want to I want to feel something when I make it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, the assembly line or someone writing me a script, like that, just, it's not going to make me happy. So, you know, that's my thought to you, because I've definitely been there. And
Yeah.
like today, right? Like, I'm editing something, and when you can edit something and you get chills, or you're like, you know, like
Yeah.
that, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
but yeah, just know, like, I feel like everybody gets there, and I would be lying to you if I said I was never there, because I've had voices, comments in my head, you know, especially the last 3 years, like I said, like physical voices of saying like, "Hey man, you're an idiot for not pushing this tech thing to your max ability."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think you need to find something that makes you happy. And like I said, the perspective quickly changes to where, even like on the Jonathan and Friends channel, right? Like,
Mhm.
like I said, something can get 20,000 views, 25,000 views, and like, I'm happier with that. And you know,
Yeah.
just I don't know. You
Everything's
got
relative, man.
it is though, and it's wild.
Yeah. No, it really is. Like that's one of like the mantras that I live by. I should follow my own advice better. Cause like I remember like, you know, it's like I'll talk to my friends about it. I'll be like, dude, I only got 25K on this last video. Like I fell off and got ratioed. And they're like, dude, I've never gotten 25,000 views on a video. I was like, I know, but like I should get double that at least. Like, come on, man. And
I
you know,
guess,
it's
can
like
I
you said.
can I ask you though, like, do you mind talking about your lowest point, and then maybe conversely, is there a highest point for you?
Hmm. Highest point? In my life, like, you're talking about in my life? In just in general?
I don't know. I mean, creative. We don't have to unwrap it to life if you
Sure.
don't want to. We can talk about creative
Yeah.
YouTube.
Creatively, you know what? That's a really interesting conversation as far as when I feel like so much of my, um, perspective or so much of my feeling is so transitive, and it really you know what? That's an interesting conversation, though, because actually, the month that I made the most money and got the most views ever was the month that my girlfriend broke up with me, and it was the lowest I ever felt in my life.
Yikes.
And dude, like, I don't think I've said this publicly. My second most viewed video has like 3.5 million views. It was actually in the slideshow with Greg earlier. And it was the iOS 14 iPhone hidden features video when the widgets came out and like that, like literally you could breathe iOS 14 and you would get 1 million views.
Mhm.
And it was crazy. Like creators that had no following were getting 500,000 views. It was awesome. I was like, man, I wish this is consistent. But I remember so clearly, I was like having a panic attack the day that I recorded that video, and like if you would see the raw, like that 12-minute video was like an hour and 40 minutes of raw recording because I literally was like tweaking out half the time.
Mhm.
And that video earned me an ungodly amount of money. And it was this weird, and I'm not saying that to flex, I'm saying that to be like, that was the duality of like, I have all this money and views now and subscribers, but I feel dead. Like I'm like
That's how
barely
I
holding
feel
on
right
out
now.
here. Like, it was so weird to like see that like money hit my bank account, and I was like, well, I'm still fucking sad,
Yeah.
but at least I can like eat McDonald's today.
Yeah.
It was just like it was a very weird thing. So like that's sort of the dichotomy with that, because it was like creatively that wasn't my best,
Right.
but the feedback that I got from the world said that was my best.
Sure.
Which I don't know if that answers your question, but like,
Well, just go back to being sad if you want views. Apparently, that's the that's the answer.
no, I like the takeaway there for me was like, I don't know, they like it basically that it's just RNG and it's random, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was my
But like,
takeaway, Jonathan. I'm curious.
what was a video that you put a lot into that maybe didn't do the best, but you were like proud of?
Oh, so many. Like I used to do these. I used to
Ah,
do
look,
these
look at that. That's the classic. I used to do these videos all the time,
that
like
never performed, so I stopped.
what was it though? Talk to me about it.
It was these Apple product reviews. I mean, like it was just a review, right? It wasn't like something like particularly special, but I would like script it out, and they were actually all inspired by I don't know if you guys know who David Pierce is. He actually just recently got rehired at The Verge.
Yeah,
But
David.
the template for like what I believe is the greatest, I still believe this is the greatest review video of all time. David Pierce, when he was with The Verge, did this iPhone 6 review, not the 6 Plus. It was just the iPhone 6. And he was like, the video team shot it in New York where their headquarters is. And like the voiceover and everything was just like fucking killer. And that was
Right.
literally the model for like 6 years of review videos for me. But I kept making them, and I love them, but it became a thing where I was like, I'm investing so much time in this, and it's not really paying off. It wasn't. It was objectively not paying off, even though my heart was in it. And it was that feedback that it ended up hurting my mental more, because then when I was like mad making them, like I was getting to the point where I was frustrated before it was even out, because I'm like, I just spent an hour on this damn shot, and nobody's even gonna fucking see it.
That's how, like, Jonathan, do you remember my Sam refuses to watch it, but do you remember my Apple is better without Steve Jobs video?
Yeah.
That I love making videos like that, and it's almost like I use front page tech pays the bills, and I can make an episode on autopilot. And so a lot of times, I use that stuff to give myself more freedom to make videos that I actually want to make, like the Steve Jobs video. But it's like I make less and less of those because of this effectively the same thing Sam is saying. They either do worse than a front page tech episode, which takes less time, or like just about as good. And then so you're like, why did I spend all that time on that video? But there's a lesson of like, because you fucking liked it. That's it. You enjoyed it, and that's it.
I think the thing is like the reality that we all have to like the tough pill to swallow, so to speak, is like we aren't owed anything, and we could spend 6 weeks on a video and we're not owed anything from anybody. And the thing that constantly tries to make me want to improve is, no matter what the situation is, there's always someone who's better than you and working harder. And it's tough, right? Because you as a human feel that like, oh, I worked so hard on this, I deserve the views, and that's such a normal human response. And I feel that, and like we've all been there, right? But I think that's the ultimate pill that we got to remember is, we're not owed a damn thing. And it's just, again, it just goes back to that balance of, like you just said, John, why do I do it if it takes, why am I going to make this video that takes 10 times as long and gets basically the same views? And I could make this video that is much easier and do better. Like that's the argument I've done my entire freaking life of doing. And people questioning me, And at the end of it, it's just I couldn't mentally do that, and to do the same video every single time, I couldn't. But at the same time, I do want to make it clear, right? The point in my life where I'm at is, if that's what you do and that's how you make your money, that's how you pay your bills, that's how you take care of those people in your life, that's cool. It doesn't make you wrong or a bad
Yeah.
person, right? Like, it's just I couldn't mentally, physically do that.
Yeah, I mean, we know people
Yeah.
in this space that clearly don't make videos for the audience. It's like they don't make videos for the audience. They don't make videos because they enjoy it. They're just making it because it's like it's just their job. It's like any other job, and they show up to work and they do it, and they put the video out, and they have a sponsor in it. They get paid, and they go home. That's it.
Sure. Yeah, and I actually
Which
had
is fine too.
I had an experience like that with music over the past year, where I worked with someone, and it was a little bit creatively draining for me because it felt like a job to that person. And it was a situation where I left, that environment just feeling so drained that I didn't want to listen to music or anything. I just wanted to kind of sit in silence. And one of the biggest kind of mind shifting things for me that day was, okay, this person, they don't love it like I do. And you spend your time like, well, why don't they love it like I do?
Yeah, they're like
know?
jaded.
And not even jaded, but like, I think it's just like, I
It was
probably
just a job.
no, it's just like I probably obsess about this. Like, you probably shouldn't like it as much as I do. Like the normal human shouldn't like this as much as I do.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of the mind shift for me of like, okay, like instead of focusing energy there and thinking like, oh, they're wrong for not liking it like I do, it just made me appreciate when I do find people who are like that and do love it like I do. Like, how do I get more of that, and how do I focus my energy on that? And
Yeah.
so just trying to shift the negative energy into a positive energy and not fixate on that side of things, I think has helped me not only creatively, but just in the tech space, right? Because so many times I go on Twitter and I'm just like, oh, here's a dumb take, let me react to it. And
Yeah.
what I should do is just shut the F up and
Yeah.
continue to do what I'm gonna do. And
There has been so many times, like more
But you're
time.
also a human.
Yeah, more
so
times than
it's
not
okay.
throughout the day. I will see a tweet and like go to quote tweet it or say literally anything. Like my drafts are just filled with stuff that I almost said, and
Right.
it's like 10 times a day. I'm like, no, I don't need to say that, and then I just don't say it. But speaking, by the way, Sam, I texted you? Can you pull up a certain tweet because I want to ask Jomo about it after the ad read.
Yes.
I need you to pull it up, okay?
I will pull it up.
Okay, so we have
But
we have another
first-
ad read. Listen, what if you don't like what you're doing? What if you are a cook and you're like, you know what? I'm not passionate about cooking anymore. I would rather code. What would you do, Sam?
Gosh, man, I feel like I'd probably go to Codecademy.
Would you? And would you get
John, I
15% off
would.
of Codecademy Pro with
Is
code
that the
Genius
deal they're
Bar?
running? With over 50 million people that are also learning to code?
That HTML,
They're just
Python,
getting
CSS, Swift. Listen, if you want to, if now's the best time, it's better than ever to get into Swift, start coding. And the best thing is you don't need any experience. You go to Codecademy and they will hook you up with everything step by step. You learn at your own pace, and that's it. Even if you don't even know what you want to do, you're just like, I want to code, but I don't know if I want to use Swift. I don't know if I want to make websites with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. I don't know. They'll walk you through everything and get you started. So all you gotta do is go in the door, honey.
Just go in the door. Guys, you can learn at your own pace. You can get qualified for in-demand jobs. You can choose what to learn, from basic websites to artificial intelligence and everything else you could want. Guys, join over 50 million people learning to code with Codecademy and see where coding can take you. Get 15% off your Codecademy Pro membership when you go to codecademy.com and use promo code GeniusBar. That's promo code GeniusBar at codecademy.com to get 15% off Codecademy Pro, the best way to learn code. That's CODECADEMY.com, promo code GeniusBar.
Thank you, Codecademy, for sponsoring this episode of Genius Bar. Yay! Okay. So
Time to be serious.
yeah, time to be serious. By the way, Jonathan, did you have ads on GadgetCast? Did they have ads there?
They did not.
Yeah. Do you know why?
I don't know why.
Inferior podcast. That's why.
Oh my god.
That's why. No one wants to pay Greg because he's Greg. Okay, I have a question for you, Jonathan.
I don't have it yet.
What? I'm talking.
almost
I can see you scrolling. Find his tweet. Go to his tweet. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Go to his Twitter.
Working on it, dog.
Okay.
Chill.
A couple episodes ago on Genius Bar, you had dropped a tweet like right before we recorded, and we were upset about it. And so now I am confronting you. We talked about feelings, and now it's time to talk about rage.
Cool.
I need to hold you
Confronting
accountable.
Jonathan Morrison.
Yeah.
That's the episode title, I think.
Where is it?
Dude, I'm working on it.
Did he?
Damn, that stuff looks so cool.
Doesn't it? No. We don't say it looks cool. We are confronting him.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing looks cool.
That's a really sickly video.
No, Sam, nothing looks cool.
Bro, I'm working on it. He dropped a new song in Dolby
No.
Atmos.
Now is not the time. This is serious.
Dude, that's a Tesla there, and that's a Model 3, it looks like.
Okay, but listen, this is serious, Sam.
Okay, I'm trying to find the tweet.
How much do you tweet, Jonathan?
No, I literally... I feel
We're never gonna find
Well,
it.
just because you're promoting the song, like that makes sense. No, I'm gonna find it. I thought it was like more... Wait.
It was the tweet.
No, I know exactly what tweet. I just... I literally... It's got to be around here.
Okay.
We're close.
The tweet was about returning Apple products. Jonathan basically...
Let's go to town on this one,
Okay,
please.
good. Jonathan tweeted some absolute malarkey talking about how making fun of people returning their products so they can make a video, their Apple products, they effectively buying them and then making their video to get the views, but then returning them. And Jonathan is not a fan of that. In fact, what?
I'll squash this debate in 6 seconds flat. We bring it up. Like, get the tweet. I'm ready.
Dude, I know. I'm trying to find this tweet.
Why can't you just search it, Sam?
What do you mean search it?
You're the worst. You're the worst producer.
I will say,
April.
GadgetCast was a little more prepared.
No, Jonathan,
dude,
no.
I literally had a PowerPoint.
The best part is I texted Sam like 30 minutes ago about this.
You literally sent you said find the tweet. You didn't send the tweet.
Because I'm producing the show. I can't find the tweet.
Shit
if
except
I'm
the
talking.
bad attitude.
You're
embarrassing me in front of my guest. You're embarrassing me in front of my guest. Sorry, Jonathan.
We almost went the whole show.
Can somebody find this tweet? Like, I know exactly. I replied to it. Bro, where?
Dude, just search for Jonathan Morrison return.
That's what I'm doing.
If I find the tweet before you, we got problems.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
you should find it. It's your
tweet.
Twitter.
It's your tweet. Oh, I found it.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
The thing is because Sam replied to me. And,
yeah, what an idiot, Sam.
Jonathan, would you like to read your tweet in your own words?
Yeah, we want to. You don't get to hear the tone on through the words on Twitter. So go ahead, Jonathan, if you will.
Sure. Let me see. It's a little small, but please stop that I'm returning tech videos, aka that I bought this temporarily for a couple views, aka there are other products that suit me better, but I bought it anyways and then complained about it. Thank you. Heart
emoji.
Explain.
Sure.
We need answers.
Well, first off, I would like to actually just reply to Sam's tweet back to me in person because, you know,
what did Sam say?
I said, I'll walk you through it. I read this. I wake up. He tweets this at 10:35 a.m. I'm fully hungover probably. And I'm like, bruh. So then somebody tags me.
Oh, okay. I will say I'm sorry. That's probably the worst.
No. It's okay. So then I had talked about like people returning things. So then I'm like, oh my God, is this like directed at me?
Wow, you thought he was like subtweeting you specifically?
Not me specifically, but I was like, this pisses me. So this person turns out to be like, oh, I was just kidding. Ha, of course, like they all are. Anyway, he's cool. I said, hopping in here, for those of us who don't get review units, what's the best way to get our hands on the products in order to share our thoughts? I hate having to return a lot of the stuff I buy from Apple, but it's also my job. This is a bit pretentious. It's also my job to be well informed on the company's offerings. Jonathan, go.
Sure. Oh, we'll break that down. I'll give you. Do I have the pill? I have the pillow now, right? So
yeah,
it's
you
my
got the
turn?
pillow.
Yeah, I think in a general sense, I think it's very literal, that video, the I'm returning video, like very specifically that video, because
Okay.
I absolutely understand your perspective, Sam. On a baseline level, that's fine, right? And I'm not even necessarily against, doing what you got to do to buy something, to do coverage on it, right? For me, it's the disingenuous part of like, oh, I returned this because it didn't like, no, like none of this is normal human life, right? The average person isn't going to go through 68 different tech products in a 4-week span. And the reality is they're saving their money for weeks, for months, for even years to buy something that's going to last them for a really long time. So the notion of this video of like, hey, I'm just the average consumer and I'm returning it because it's my hard-earned money and it didn't work, like that's bullshit. And you could make the video, buy it, return it, but don't come at it from the, oh, like I'm returning this because XYZ. Just do your review, do your video.
Yeah.
And, that's my perspective. So I don't have any problem with anybody going out there and doing what they have to do to make a product. We've all been there. It's just it's the notion of like trying to act like, hey, I'm one of you. I'm
Yeah.
the average. Hey, cool kids. I'm spending my money like you are, and like you actually even put your own foot in your mouth with your reply saying like, oh, I have to do it. Like, no, because the average person doesn't have to, right? Not at all. And you're saying because of my job, the job that I chose to do, the job that I forced myself into, the style of videos that I put the gun to my own head and then now are blaming others, that's forced me to have to buy this product. And I have to be edgy and clicky because tech views are dying. And it's the only way I can keep the lights on and pay for the stamps.com ad. And
Stamps.com is paying for the Stamps.com ad. Thank you very much.
No, but like, that's where the passion comes. And that's the extended version of that tweet. I don't have a problem with people buying stuff and if they have to return it. And
what if they genuinely were going to keep it, but then it was the M1 Ultra and it wasn't as fast as they were promised, and so then they're returning it?
I will also say anybody who says the M1 Ultra isn't as fast as it was promised isn't using it like they should.
There it is. You Apple shill, man.
No, but it's like it's such a crazy specific use case where like I don't necessarily even need the Mac Studio. The 14-inch MacBook Pro is my favorite Apple product out right now, and it's really more than enough for all the stuff that I do, to the point where I'm a freaking weirdo where I ditched the Mac Pro, I ditched the 5K iMac, and I was full on M1 MacBook Pro for the entire 2020, or the existence of its time, until the next iteration of M1 Max and Pro came out, or Pro and Max, however you want to look at that. So, for me, it just comes down to like, bro, like you're not maxing out the Pro or the Max. How are you going to max out the Ultra and then complain about it?
Yeah.
Can I respond to the slander?
Go ahead.
So let me pull up my tweet.
Can you find that, or is that going to be a problem?
All right. Ha ha. Yeah. Just fucking kidding. You don't get any laughs. Only I do. Next up. So let me read you the extended version of my tweet. I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit, so it may get a little crass. Just a heads up.
Oh, no.
Is this fucking guy that really has millions of subscribers, the Apple Golden Boy who gets sent every product, really targeting other people that might be doing what they need to do to try to grow in an incredibly competitive environment? That was the raw emotion.
The pillow's back tweet. On Jonathan.
No, that was the raw emotion behind that tweet, and I phrased it as. But also, I want to make it clear that I hear what you're saying. I define what my own job is, and
See,
I hear
but to
that.
that one, I'll say bullshit too, because I've worked my ass off to get here, and I guarantee you I work harder than you. And I'm not even coming from a place of like
Got him.
that like that's the thing is like I work at this relentlessly, and I have worked at this for years and years and years and years and years. And that's the thing, right? Is like I understand that sentiment, and I feel like I get painted in that picture all the time, and
Yeah.
that's okay. But if you actually sit down and know me and watch me work, like I promise you, I work harder, than most people even realize. And even going full circle back to the conversation of like, it's to the point now where like, I don't know if it's purposely or whatever, but I don't even know if I would say embargo is an advantage for me with the way I do things. So yeah, I mean, I can unpack that raw emotion all day, and
Are you satisfied with that answer, Sam?
I mean, I don't doubt your work ethic, Jonathan, but I still feel like, well, also what I was saying, I wasn't taking away. I
No,
wasn't
but
trying to
No.
devalidate your work. I was just like, it was sort of, why does it matter what other people are trying? So, okay, let me put it this way. Maybe the things that these people are doing are unethical, where they're intentionally buying something with the idea to return it. But like with YouTube and specifically tech as mature as it is, like this is a way that people are trying to stand out. And I understand I'm not even a small creator, but I understand as a small creator needing to do some videos that are a bit questionable, because it's like, I don't really know how else you grow. Like, I don't know how a small tech YouTuber today grows with like no negative videos like that as a small creator will get clicks.
That's crazy, but then that's why the videos that you want to do well don't do well. Like I'm shocked. And like I would like to unpack why you think I'm a golden boy. Like no one gave me anything.
The honest answer is I feel like sometimes you defend Apple products in a way that I feel like sometimes
Please don't.
I feel like sometimes
I'm-
you
we are getting
No, I'm
spicy
not-
on this episode of Genius Bar.
no, and Jonathan, I want you to know for real that like I'm saying all of this with love. Like even in the clip that like John and I had talked about like this tweet before, we were both like, yeah, we love, like I love your stuff, and like I would love to get to know you better as a person. Like this isn't coming from I don't like Jonathan Morrison. And
Yeah.
this is
Also,
like,
very important point. No one, just to make it clear for the audience too, no one is attacking anybody personally, like on a personal level, because
Yeah.
like on a personal level, I think Jonathan is one of the best human beings that exist on the planet.
I would agree.
I think he has questionable tweets, and we can talk about like professional stuff, but I don't want it to seem like any of us has, bad feelings towards each other personally at all.
Sure.
Okay, so now to absolutely destroy Jonathan about the Apple Golden Boy.
Dude, when did I become the voice of reason on the planet?
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah, what is happening?
Like as I mentioned earlier in the show, I think the videos you make are sick. I also feel like I don't even think you. Okay, I remember seeing some tweets from you about the studio display and how are you like, this thing's awesome. But like I didn't see you admit like, yeah, the camera's really bad on this.
Have you seen every single tweet? Because I've openly said that the camera is okay, and I wouldn't recommend the studio display as my first option to anybody. And that's the part. Oh my goodness, man.
Oh my
I must have
goodness.
missed that tweet.
Oh my goodness.
That's the thing, right? People
So I apologize.
No,
My
no,
guy
no.
said, "Oh my goodness."
There's an episode of Dave, man. If you guys haven't watched the show, Little Dicky, it's great. But there's a character Data in there, and there's a notion of like it's okay, size me up, because people have done that my entire life, and I've just come to realize I'm gonna get that stigma either way, and like I will agree with you, and I've talked about that even before you guys have said that. Sometimes the tweets that come out of me are the reaction, and it isn't the entire picture. It's not. And so I've just worked really hard to actually like not do that, and to just let the work in the video speak for itself, because I could sit here and rattle off, 5 monitors that I would recommend to anybody before the studio display. And that's the part that frustrates me, is things get lost in the mix, where it's okay to say the studio display isn't a good value, and I objectively think it's too much money. But to say that it's a bad display, or to say that a $600 display is basically the same thing, is stupid. And those are the parts where I, come in to defend Apple, as you would say, right?
He admitted it. He admitted it. Apple apologist.
We have a winner.
But
yeah.
Like, again, I feel like take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, rattle off any tweets, any questionable tweets that you think I have, or anything that you think I overly defend Apple. Like, I'm here in person. This is me, like, in all good fun. Like, please come at me, because I promise you there's usually reason behind it.
And that is what hit me when I was watching. Dude, this happened with me with John Prosser, where I see tweets and things that he would say before I knew him as a person.
Oh,
and I
Sam
would be
used
like,
to fucking hate me, dude.
But to be clear, I never have hated you, Jonathan. There's just been things where I'm like, oh, I feel like he's disconnected. He's a coastal elite now. He doesn't understand the trenches, without actually hearing perspective and having a conversation outside of seeing a couple hot takes that I interpreted to fit my own narrative.
And that's fair, though. And that's why I'm not mad. And I understand, dude, the whole evolution of this, especially for me, is like the mental psyche of it, right? Because it's easy to paint a picture from a tweet, right? And I've just come to realize, like, it's impossible to paint a picture, or to show a point, or to really do anything with strictly words, and specifically the number of characters that Twitter gives you, no less. And the only way you can really truly do that is by showing someone and letting them experience, because you won't really truly know until you either know and have to go back. So yeah, I would love, honestly, a rapid fire.
I mean, not even just that. I mean, I have no complaints about the Apple defending thing, but what was it? It was like yesterday, or I don't know. It's been recent. Your iPhone 14 title tweets.
Oh yeah,
that's another one where it's like, bro, we're trying to play the game. Just let us play the game.
But that's the thing, right? Like, if it was a conversation like it is now, that's funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's a funny tweet.
No, I think that's why I hate it, because it's what I think every time I have to fucking type it in before the upload's done.
Okay, but like, Prosser, what's something that you think I've maybe overly defended someone on, or Apple?
I don't know. I never said you overly defended Apple. No.
Oh no, but you said some of my takes on Twitter.
Like your iPhone 14 stuff, or the people returning Apple products. I brought both of those up.
Okay. Cool.
There was another one.
Okay, real quick, to clarify, was your tweet about the returning Apple products specifically about the returning videos? Not necessarily the buying and then returning. It's the fact that they're like bringing attention to the fact that they're returning them.
It's getting clicks by, it's literally titling the video, "I'm returning," not actually physically returning. Like, hell yeah. There's so much shit that I buy that I return that I'm not like, oh, this is garbage. Like,
I never. Fun fact about me, I never return stuff.
But the thing is like,
I'm too lazy.
I would say to another point, Sam, something that has also been a detriment to me. If I really don't like something, I will quietly like just not cover it, because it's not fun for me to shit on something.
So that's why you always see positive stuff.
Kinda, until like someone just breaks me and I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And do you see how some people, myself included, will read that as Apple hype machine?
Well, okay, Sam, do you have this?
I think that
you have this idea that
that's cool.
Like, okay, so he's saying positive stuff. but it's like you're just now considering that he's saying positive stuff just because he doesn't want to say the negative stuff. Like, do you in your little Sam heart, do you look upon other YouTubers and quote unquote influencers? Like, do you think that's part of their responsibility to talk shit or point out
I guess
shitty things?
this sort of goes back to my idea of like, I said like this is my job, right? I think the pressure that I've put on myself, I guess something I've noticed for me is
You're
like,
projecting.
what do you mean?
Are you projecting like the almost
Oh.
like the Sam ethics onto other people?
Others, yeah. I do that to pretty much everyone in my life, and it's probably not a good quality.
Well, to interject, Sam, like I want to expand on that. Like I do understand why people would think that. So personally, I've worked really hard to try and not do that and to just let videos speak. And I feel like
Sure.
the next wave of things you'll see from me, I feel like encapsulate that. But
Okay.
to your defense, I can understand why you might think that, but I will also happily tell you you're wrong because you don't know me, and maybe you know me a little bit better now, right? But most of my replies or takes come from a place of passion and actually using it every single day, because that was one of the bigger frustrations of my career is, there was a time when it was just like, cool to use stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so much of the tech space saw the sweet Apple views that those videos were getting, and people who didn't use Apple products or Macs, they felt compelled that they had to cover it because, right? Because it's my job, and when my hands are tied, someone has a gun to my head.
Yeah.
I have to cover this product that I probably wouldn't use anyways, and then I'm gonna give it, I'm going to give it a shitty take because my energy is shitty towards it. And this isn't, so you can rest easy knowing this isn't towards you, right? Like, because you use the stuff. And it just got to a point where it's like, I feel like I've seen it in the camera space and in the phone camera space too, where it's like if you objectively don't like the iPhone, your negative energy is going to make you take a shitty photo. And like, what? It's just, like our confirmation as humans, like if we want to not like something, we're going to find ways to make it not work for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Here's another tweet.
Here we go.
Okay, this is one that I
forgot about this one.
Ooh,
yeah, I was gonna say, John, I knew that you had something to say about this.
Sure.
So, Jonathan,
okay,
do you want to read the tweet?
I'll read it. I'll read it the way I read it.
I gotta read it. So, yeah, you read it, Arthur. No, you read it.
You can't be out here complaining about HDR when you're making stuff in SDR.
And he can't even read it. John Prosser, everybody. Wow, nice one, man. You look like a real winner today. Can we get a redo on that one?
Okay, that's how I read it with that tone of voice, though. It's like,
sure,
you can't be out here complaining about HDR when you're making stuff in SDR.
Sure.
So what is the what? Why?
Because.
Okay, here's a question. I fucking hate HDR.
Me too.
Because you haven't seen good HDR. I promise both of you haven't.
I've watched your videos, bro.
No, they're
good.
You're setting it up. You're setting it up. He's gonna fucking dunk on you again because you're setting it up.
You've never watched my stuff or the good stuff in the way you should watch it, because YouTube isn't the place to do that. There's no unless you're downloading that straight from the horse's mouth and watching it locally and doing everything you need to do. It's not going to justify it. I'm talking about really good Dolby Vision through Apple TV or Apple TV Plus, because good HDR is stuff that you really don't notice. And I don't think we're there yet, but when you get to experience it properly, it is incredible. And stuff feels like there's a blanket over it when you have to go back and not experience it. But yeah, please don't judge, some HDR YouTube videos from a platform that doesn't support the specific format.
Yeah, I'm not talking about YouTube. Like, I have HDR turned off on my TV.
What TV do you have?
Some sort of LG OLED something or other. I don't fucking know the model number.
All right, this is a separate conversation. This is a separate project for a different day. I mean, we'll unpack this tweet still, but
are you gonna like look up the TV and?
No, I mean,
on anything that supports HDR, I usually turn it off just because it's like
Me too.
It takes me out of the content a lot. Maybe
It
you're saying that you
shouldn't.
shouldn't notice HDR. How are you going to not notice HDR?
Because HDR isn't as drastic as people think. The assumption is that everything's inherently just like a shitload brighter, and
Yes.
it's actually not. If it's done right, and
But how's that my fault? How's that a me problem? Because my access to HDR is the same. Hang on, wait, I'm not done.
oh, I'm about to rip you right now.
I'm not done. My access to HDR is the same as as any other consumer. I'm not talking about Jonathan Morrison have my fucking studio outfitted with shit. I'm talking about a regular person sitting in their living room. That's who HDR is being marketed towards most of the time.
No,
I'm sure
because
there's top tier HDR, but why are you shitting on everyone who shits on HDR?
No, you just proved my point. Because
How?
if you turn HDR off, you have no right to complain. I'm not saying you did, but if you turn HDR off and you have no intent of viewing HDR, you have no place to complain about the studio display being 600 nits and not 1,000 nits. That's my point. It's because if you
talking about the studio display.
I didn't complain about the nits on the studio display.
no. But that's my point. Is people are upset.
Oh, that tweet was in context of a studio display.
The sentiment there was like, hey, unless you're actively working in and consuming and watching, you really care about HDR, then it doesn't matter to you. But if you are someone who doesn't care and you're turning HDR off, then you shouldn't be mad about that. And the other extent, to break that down a little bit more, is people, they spend all this money on cameras. They talk about dynamic range and red this, and all these cameras can shoot 13, 14, 15 stops of dynamic range. SDR will only give you maybe 6, 7 of those stops. So you're using this fancy pants camera, and we're only seeing about half of what it's capable of.
Well, that's another question, because outside not liking HDR as a consumer, watching HDR, your tweet phrased it as, you can't complain about HDR unless you're making stuff in if you're making stuff in SDR. So unless you're making it, don't say shit. What about the consumers that just don't like it, that aren't making anything? They don't make anything. They just watch it.
No, that's irrelevant. Like, I'm saying, like, irrelevant in the sense of like, that's not my point with that. Like,
that's literally the tweet, dog. You don't complain unless you make.
But I'm giving you the exact context. It's for the people who are shitting on the studio display for not being 1,000 nits. Like, that is the exact context. Nothing more, nothing less.
I think I saw that tweet when I like how close he got. Anytime we were yelling at each other, just get really close to the camera. I think that, like, I don't even know. I saw that tweet like outside of the context of the studio display. Like, I completely missed all that drama. Wasn't seeing people argue about it, and then I just saw that tweet pop up randomly, and it looked like you just like, I'm like, but I don't like HDR. Why do I can't say that unless I make stuff in HDR?
No, I say as a whole, HDR is a giant shit show, and it is a convoluted mess that I think is getting better. And I think a lot of really bad HDR has kind of given it a bad name and put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. But good HDR, good Dolby Vision, it doesn't feel like it takes you out of it.
I believe you, but again, like, nobody's seen good HDR.
I have, and
yeah, but you're like, dude.
But again, like, you're coming from somebody who shoots on.
You're passionate about this, and you've surrounded yourself with good shit.
But like,
that's not true. Anybody with a Sony OLED or an LG OLED and an Apple TV and Apple TV Plus, or good Dolby Vision movies or anything has seen it. I promise you.
But I just said,
no, I believe you. I'm just saying, like, that's the minority of HDR content.
That's not true, because we have great HDR displays on our phones. We just need a means to get them.
Oh, don't even fucking get me started on that.
It's true.
I hate it. Why do I hate it so much, and I'm not allowed to hate it? Because I don't make it. Okay, I'm going to make one thing in HDR just so I can get back on here and complain. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Can I get some power? Can I get some power from my MacBook real quick? And then
yeah.
Go get a juice box.
Cool.
Hey, while he's gone,
let's do another ad. The last ad read of the day, which is Policygenius.
Policygenius!
Yay! Policygenius. Sam?
What if Jonathan Morrison never comes back? You better hope he has life insurance.
Yeah, and I hope I'm the beneficiary.
I don't actually mean that. I want him to come back.
We need him to come back.
Good conversation. I really love this man.
Okay, so here's the thing about Policygenius. Here's the thing about Policygenius and life insurance and how important it is. I know from very personal experience, where things have happened. People have kicked the bucket. They were not prepared to kick the bucket. They did not prepare the family. They did not prepare anything. They didn't have life insurance. None of that stuff. And what happens when you don't have life insurance and you leave your family to deal with it? Instead of grieving, they have to plan a funeral. They have to wrap up your affairs, your estate, all this other stuff. And no one knows. There's no preparation for this. Policygenius makes it super easy. Well, the problem with life insurance is that you feel overwhelmed. You don't want to. It's like, it's going to be this whole process. I'm going to have to go to this website and this website, compare quotes, and do all this. No, none of that stuff. All in one place. Policygenius.com.
Dude, listen. This is what you do. Policygenius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance you need at the right price. Click on the link in the description or head to policygenius.com. Just answer a few questions. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policygenius. That's pretty good, right, John?
That's very good.
I'd say so. Listen, the team of licensed experts at Policygenius are hands-on throughout the tire process. When they're switching to tires on your life, they help you understand your options and make decisions with confidence.
Switch the tires on your life.
The Policygenius team works with you, for you, not the insurance companies. Whether you're just starting to shop or have questions about your active policy, your independent advocates are there to offer unbiased advice.
And thank you to Policygenius for sponsoring this episode.
Head over to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save.
Thank you, Policygenius.
Head over to policygenius.com.
All right, it's time for the Idiot Bar, everybody. Here we go. It's the Idiot Bar. Yay, Idiot Bar. Wait, we have to tell Jonathan what the Idiot Bar is as if it wasn't bad enough. Oh, and is he back? He's back. Okay, back. Jonathan Morrison is back, everybody. Yay! Okay, this is the Idiot Bar, Jonathan. After the last ad read of the day, which we just did while you were gone,
nice.
The Idiot Bar commences, which means there are no rules. All bets are off. You can say, do whatever you want. It's if it wasn't getting spicy enough.
But I wanted to ask you.
Oh, the rule is, the first rule is you have to sit back. You have to relax. You can relax for this part.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
No, that's the rules. I don't make them.
Okay. Jonathan, I wanted to say, do you feel like we're ganging up on you or it's like a 2v1 situation?
No.
During this conversation? Okay.
I'm, like I said, that mental piece comes with this. And like, it's all good. Like I'm happy that you can say that. And like, I guess I just want to be able to show you that you're wrong. And
well, this is good because
I still got his fight in. No, that's good. No, I just wanted to establish that because, like, two people on a podcast, just you. I didn't want it to feel like weird. I've been in situations where like it's been like a 2v1 thing, and it never. I didn't want to feel icky. Like I wanted to feel like we're having a conversation, which is what I was feeling. But I wanted to make sure you were.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'm good. I think, like I said, I understand how people can size me up that way, and it makes sense, right? But
yeah,
I think I'm at this point of my life where it's like if you want to think that, but come at least see what I'm doing before you make that assessment.
Well, there's I feel like this is good because, Sam, we'll just link this. Every time you see someone complaining under his tweets, just link this. Yeah. Because I feel like we're saying we're the voice of the voiceless right now.
That's what I want this podcast to be, is just like...
Well, I feel like no one... I feel like you could say this for all of us, but we rarely have an outlet to actually, for the viewers or anyone to get to know us like this. It's like, before the podcast, all the internet had of me is Front Page Tech, which is... not a good representation because I'm just playing a character on that show, but
I hated you.
You hated me, Prosser.
That's how. Okay, Sam, you know how you hated me, and that's how we're friends. Yes, that's what happened with Jomo and I. Yes,
he judged me maybe worse than you did.
Yeah, it was much worse. That's why I'm reserved now because didn't you and I hop on a phone call?
Yeah, because it was like, bro, you don't know me. Like, at least like
Yeah, it was like I was
Oh,
like
man.
tweeting, talking shit, and he's like, "Why don't you just call me?" And so,
But that's the thing, right? Like that's what I'm saying, Sam. Like people size me up every single time to the point where like, Painfully Honest Tech, did the giant hit piece on me, and like that shit hurt my feelings, man. Like from
Yeah, you're a
Aw.
human.
I
No,
would-
you're a
No.
human.
No, but
That
I'm just
makes
saying,
sense. It should.
but I'm
Like,
just saying, like I watched that and I was like, I was sad because
yeah,
it's like, bro, you don't know me, and you don't
Yeah.
know. So like, yeah, like I guess I don't want to say I'm used to it, or I'm not going to sit there and act like I don't feel anything. Of
Uh-huh.
course I do. I
yeah.
think I'm just like at the point now where it's like people are gonna think what they're gonna think, and now I just want to like not engage in a weird way. I just want to show people with my work.
Mm.
I love that.
No, and that's a human thing. Like to,
Real
I
quick,
feel the same way.
by
if
the
somebody
way,
made a hit
Sam,
piece
you
about
gotta
me.
keep the conversation going because I'm gonna pee my pants. I
Okay.
gotta go to the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, I remember he was making videos about a lot of things. Oh, I also want to touch on just like you being like, let's hop on a call, because that's how I've always dealt. Like, me and Greg, if people haven't picked up, obviously it's for the meme. Like, there's no actual like,
Beef.
why did I have to explain this? Now it's ruined. But anyway, my point being like, if me and Greg really had a problem, I would not be tweeting publicly and doing it on my podcast. I'd be like, hey, can we talk? Because
Right.
that's exactly the first episode of this podcast ever. Like when I say like I hated Prosser, like I like paced around my kitchen for 2 hours once and was like telling my parents how I was going to make a hit piece on him and was praying that he would say something offensive that I could like make the central point of the hit piece on, because
Right.
I was so frustrated with like how he was talking to people, what he was doing. What did I do one day? Instead of just holding it inside, I just sent him a DM and was like, hey man, can I just tell you how I'm feeling? And he was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, I really don't like how you're like attacking people from 9 to 5 Mac. Some of those people are my friends. I don't like how you're making these jokes. Like that stuff isn't cool.
Right.
Dude sends back a message twice as long as mine and was like responsive.
Right.
And I was like, what? He's supposed to say fuck you and then I can be more angry.
Right.
Like it, but like you said, like that direct human to human conversation is more valuable than anything we have in the world. Like Twitter is not the place to make friends. Twitter's the place to end friendships. Phone calls are the way to make friends. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
John, I just told him the story about how I hated you.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I mean, I hated him too, so it works out.
but
Oh, yeah, I forgot you
that's
did.
how it was, right? Like I think I found out, it was Jason's piece on me, and then a Prosser top comment. Yeah, like fuck this dude. Yeah, he sucks too. Like and
By the way, what did you send us on Twitter?
oh, I sent you an HDR video to download to your phone.
Okay, of course. Here we go.
What phones are you guys on?
iPhone 13 Pro.
Okay,
Same.
download the file. See what happens. Just save it to files right now as we talk.
Okay.
I didn't return
Okay.
mine. I didn't make a video about returning it.
But that's the thing, right? Like the easy thing is to be like, oh well, like go after yourself also, right? But I don't know, man. Like we're all humans, and like I want people to know, like, hey, like I feel stuff too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the way you put it makes it so sad.
No,
well,
but you're
okay,
fucking
so
right, Jonathan. 'Cause,
That's how I learned though, dude.
you're
Because
right.
so Sam, when you messaged me, I don't even know what it was for, but so Sam hated me, and at one point, I think it was like live on a show, sort of like this, and it was GadgetCast actually. Fuck Greg, but it was GadgetCast,
Yeah.
and Sam had watched it and was like, "Whoa, I had the complete wrong idea of you." And like
Yeah.
I messaged him back, and it was a calm conversation. But I learned that sort of from you because of your interaction when I was coming in too hot. Like you just be willing to talk to me, and so that's how I am now with anyone that like shits on me and gets in a private like DM with me. Then I'll talk with you about it.
Yeah.
Before I would have been like, "No, bro, fuck you too."
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that point though, everyone's just yelling at everybody, and I think at this point I want to like at least give people I don't even know if benefit of the doubt is the right word, but it's like I want to at least put some good intent out there, and after that, what you choose to do with that is on you. But at least I
Yeah.
tried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of good intent, I have another tweet to discuss.
Let's go.
Okay, this is something that I want to hit on because I feel like it's been it's been a through line that I haven't been able to verbalize until now. Would you like to read your tweet to make it
Sure.
fair so I don't put my inflection on it?
Sure. Yeah, the people who are saying the studio panel is just a 27-inch 5K iMac panel are the same people who didn't see the value that the 27-inch iMac was and called that boring. They complained about the chin. It's gone now. The fact that it's been around a few years doesn't negate how good it is.
You're not wrong. Listen.
What? That was
Technically,
easy.
this tweet is correct. It does not negate that it's good. But I also think I don't like in tech if it's like, well, something's good, so it should just stay the same. Like, something that frustrates me about the studio display is that I think Apple did overprice it for what it is. I think it should be $1,200 maybe at the most, maybe $13.
I think if it
and
was,
then
I think if it was $12.99, it's less of a salty conversation.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I was just like, this sounds like he's defending Apple to release a not advanced product just because. Like it was like Apple clearly made this decision for a reason. And one of them was because they had been making the same panels or buying the same panels for 10 years that it was able to keep the cost down on their end. And I'm always someone where it's like, I guess my burden of proof, which to be clear, I think you do as well, Jonathan. Like I'm always like my burden of proof is on the $1 billion or in Apple's case, the $1 trillion corporation. Like they could have made this better. They chose to put the 10-year-old display on here almost verbatim, except for an extra 100 nits of brightness. And that's what was frustrating me is I'm like, we waited 10 years for a display and it's the same display.
But can I ask you something? What could they have done?
Mini LED, OLED.
Can you point to me one other display that size that's mini LED that isn't $4,000 and up?
There is not a comparable 5K option on the market, which is what makes it an interesting thing. But again, I feel like Apple could have spent 10 years. Like to say that they made zero progress in 10 years is baffling to me.
I just think in a nutshell, again, the crazy part is like I have a very rational explanation behind every point to that, right? Because the frustration there is everyone shit all over the Pro Display when it came out, and now everyone's like, "Oh, but it's not the Pro Display," and it's like, bro, you were complaining about that when it came out. And I think a lot of what happened is Apple has been firing on so many cylinders where the displays in the MacBooks are so good that it makes the Studio Display not impressive. And that's really what it comes into is like, yes, I would have loved a mini LED display. I would have loved something different. I'm to the point where like I actually do find value out of the Pro Display, but now because I have that option in my MacBook, it's something I need less. And I think it ultimately comes down to, it's just back to the whole sentiment of like 2 things can be true, 3 things can be true.
Yeah.
Is it too much money? Absolutely. But if Apple released the Mac Studio and your only option was the LG Ultrafine, which everybody also dunked on, no one gave that the credit it really deserved. Everyone crapped all over that for being an ugly display. Everyone's like, who needs 5K? Who cares how good the panel is? Like everyone slept on the iMac panels and the Ultrafine 5K panels for years. And that's my point is like, it's an option. It's not the best option and there are better values, but it's an option to go with the Mac Studio. And, again, for me, it's all about perspective. And if you want to compare it, right? Because for years, and you probably talked about it, but the base iMac was one of the most ridiculous values in the game for, under $2,000 and a 27-inch 5K panel and a computer inside.
Yeah.
And I think because of all those spoils, it made the studio display less of a wow factor, and it's not, by no means does it wow me. Like I'm not using it right now, and I don't think it's going to be my main display. For me, it was more of like it's one thing to say it's too much money, and it's another thing to say it's a bad display. Like that's just stupid.
I think what I want in my Sam Kohl ethics brain, as I'm like, just tweet that. Like, just instead of tweeting the panel's 10 years old, doesn't make it a bad panel. It sucks that the cable's attached. There are other options in the market, though. If you want, it would just be great to be like, dude, the studio display is whack.
But it's not though. Like,
but it sounds like you just said there are things about you that frustrate that you feel are not great. But I feel like I don't see you. Like you said, you tend to focus on tech is amazing. It's for humans. How do I?
So you just look at
how do I share my experience?
You take it that he's ignoring it.
The thing is, and I'm also going to call bullshit again, because any video that I make usually has some sort. Not that I make a lot, within recent times, but usually most of my videos have that balance in them if you actually watch them through. And I'm not saying you don't, but I feel like the general public sees the title. They take the stigma of me being an Apple user and they don't listen to the entire thing. And you guys know that, people see the title and they're already making their opinion. And
fair.
And like I said, it all comes down to like, I'm trying to do a better job of not making those hot takes and just putting a more long form balanced piece out that kind of explains those things.
I think here's the issue. I think I figured it out. I have put all the pieces together, and I have figured Jonathan Morrison out. Okay.
Drum roll.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I think there's a disconnect because, and you can see I'm noodling on it. I have thought about this before I said it. I think Jonathan, out of all of us, influencers, creators, whatever the fuck you want to call us, I think he's the most human of all of us. Front facing, if that makes sense. I think a lot of us put on a character that, like, if you sit down with us, we're like this, this is us, and we as humans we focus more on positives, but the character that side of us that feels we have an obligation to an audience or whatever, we feel like we can say a good thing without also balancing with the bad thing, and that's just like inherently in us. And Jonathan has, again, that mental peace thing. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't have to do that anymore. And I think we have a disconnect with that. I think the audience has a disconnect with that because maybe we have our own expectations of what a creator and influencer is supposed to be. And he's just not that anymore. He's not doing that. He's moved past that. And so it's weird to see like someone just be a human, but also have all those followers and we're not used to it. I think that's the problem. I think that because the saying the negative thing because I said a positive thing, that's not even in his brain. That's not even clicking. He's just saying the positive thing and has no obligation within himself to follow it up with something shitty. And I think that's a disconnect with all of us.
The thing is, like, I give you a laundry list of stupid stuff from Apple, right? Like, Apple Music sucks. Like,
you don't tweet that though.
I've talked about that. Yes, I have. But people remember. people remember the defending ones, right? Like, people are gonna ignore the things that I complain about because Apple Music is an atrocity. I mean, outside of the audio quality and spatial audio, as an interface, as a UI, as an algorithm based, like I freaking can't stand it. And there are so many things, like I am literally going to make a video of like 50 things that I wish Apple could do better because people assume and they judge me and they wrap me up and they think that, I'm like, Apple's perfect. And it's like, no, bro, they're not perfect. And it's the dumb takes that I end up getting worked up over from a point of passion because I treat stuff as the way I would treat a friend or family member. And it's like, hey, this is what I use to make all the things that help me make a living. Like, why would I not want to show you that same thing? And I think I just got tired of the people of like, oh yeah, Android's superior. And, and then I see you and, or I text you and you have a blue bubble. And it's like,
yeah.
It's just like, can we just like stop the act, right? Like, just like what you like, and that's okay. And I don't know, you have a good, I don't know about the followers part, Prosser, but Yeah,
What do you mean?
I just, like, your assessment, I think, is correct in the sense of like, I don't care. I don't care in the sense of like, I'm gonna like what I want to like, and
Mhm.
like I'm gonna be me to whatever degree that is. And if you want to rock with me, cool. And if not,
Yeah.
that's all. That's all good.
Well, I think I don't want to bring up the followers thing, but I mean, there's like a social aspect of that where it's validation for not even for you, but for the audience and how they perceive you. And no regular human, just being a human, has a following like that. And I think that's the problem because everyone has been conditioned to because of social proof and how influencers and other creators work. Like it's not even your fault. It's kind of everyone else around you. And like, for example, if I was just me, I wouldn't have followers on Twitter. It's because I play a shitty character on the internet, and that's what people follow. That's what people care about, and I think it's hard for the audience to disconnect from that and realize that we are all humans, and we don't like. Even Sam was like, he assumes that he has a responsibility where if he says a positive thing, he's also got to say the bad stuff. But that's just a thing that he put in his head.
It's all
Okay,
it's all a
not
make-believe system.
It is. We just made
yes,
this
but
shit up.
no, really, it's okay because part of me agrees with you saying that I feel like I have to say a negative thing if I.
You
if I-
said that, bro. You said it.
Wait, I did?
Yes, you said that it's your job.
No, I said it's my job. Maybe I didn't finish my statement. Regardless of what I said, what I mean right now is I feel like it's my job to be completely honest about the good and the bad. Like that's my honest truth as a journalist, as somebody who runs a Apple News website, somebody who makes YouTube videos like every other day. Like,
But if you put out a
that's my
video,
thesis as a human.
what's the latest Apple product that you bought? What's the last one?
The Mac Studio.
Okay, let's say you put out a video of the Mac Studio, and you said all the things you like about it, and you just put it out.
But I don't only like things about it.
But that's
There's
my
things I
point.
don't
What
like.
if you but that's my point. What if you made a video just saying it's not even like trying to focus on the positive side of stuff. What if you just made a video saying this is what I like and you didn't leave out the bad stuff because you're trying to be an asshole or because you're trying to hide something or because you're trying to protect Apple. You just made a video of stuff that you're interested in and you like. How's the audience going to see that?
It's not a review then. It's just.
But what's a fucking review?
Exactly. What that okay, thank you, Jonathan.
But like that's what I'm saying though. We made up this like make-believe fantasy format where it's like, hi guys, I'm a tech reviewer. This is the product I'm covering. These are the specs. Here's some B-roll. Here's a benchmark. Like here's
some
good stuff,
dubstep
here's
music.
stuff. You know, like at what like who? It's just
You're right. You're right. I am not the authority on what a review is or is not.
But that's the thing is like if I don't know. At a certain point, you're probably not a journalist if you're doing like eye tips, you know, like not in a disrespectful way, but like the quote unquote like journalist, you know, is the person who is doing like the scoops and the deep dives and like whatever. Like just everything got so blurred at a certain point where it's like, you know, even from my perspective, I never signed up to be a reviewer. I just got labeled as that because, you know, that's what happened. You know, I made videos about tech and then you get scooped up into a group, into a label. And I'm not saying that all your points are valid. I just want to reiterate that, right? Because it's human nature to feel like that. But to this is me being in the middle, to Prosper's point, he's right though. Like if you front load positivity, like you literally can't say good things on the internet right now. And people assume you're paid and that's why I've always been open with the stuff with Apple, where it's like they're the company that I've never exchanged money with, or like, you know, like OnePlus or Samsung or LG is just like throwing money at creators and hashtag ads, and everyone's like, cool. And you know, here's my thoughts on something that I use every day, and it's like because there's a positive sentiment, it's considered paid or whatever. But
and I feel like
I see how that'd be frustrating.
I feel like I'm using the word disconnect a lot, but that's what's happening. Painfully Honest Tech is a good example, like that name. for some reason there's an association with the word honest that to them means negative.
Sure.
Like when you hear painfully honest, what do you think? Like, what is the brand in your head? Like, oh, he's gonna say the shitty stuff about this stuff that other creators won't say. That makes him honest. But why do we do that? Why do we hear honest and be like, oh, he's gonna say the bad stuff too? Or why is he gonna say bad stuff? Why can't you say good stuff but also be honest about liking the good stuff?
Because there's this fundamental distrust in society right now, dude, of everything.
Yeah, so let's like just work hard to undo that.
Yeah, that's the only solution.
And that's the show. Thanks for watching.
But no, like, yeah, like that's the thing though, is it we are fundamentally programmed to want, I don't know, negativity, or to like you said. I think Rene Ritchie, that was one of his sayings of like at a certain point, like honesty got confused with cynicism, and it became honest to say the hard hitting stuff. And like when I say honest, it's not even a shot at Jason. I wish him well, and
Yeah,
I just it just became weird to like, everything became about like the honest review, or and it's like, well, like what were you doing before? Like
yeah. If you tell
when
a
you
review
see,
the truth.
I think that's what Flossie Carter does, right? He'll be like, real review.
Well,
when
he's saying real review in context of everyone else's bullshit, I think.
Yeah. No,
And
I love the guy. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah,
but when you see that, again, the same thing is he's going to tell me something that other people aren't telling me.
Yeah.
That he's going to tell me the real shit.
Yeah.
Sure. But at the end of the day, like for the most part, people aren't out to get you or to like scam you, like there are shitty people, but the majority of people aren't trying to scam you. And like, I don't care if you like this, like, it's not gonna, I'm just trying to share my experience and my thought.
I think there's only one more topic that I want to cover for the show, and I'm glad we saved it at the very end because it's just safer that way. Elon owns Twitter now.
Sure.
He owns Twitter now. Sam and I, was it last week that we talked about this?
Last week. We had a really good talk for 30 minutes about it. There's going to be a clip going out on the Clips channel, I think, tomorrow.
Oh, what great timing.
Oh, fuck. I worked so hard. I literally worked on 5 clips yesterday. It took me like hours. Because, I'm out here working harder than Jonathan Morrison or any of these other hoes, repackaging pre-existing content.
Yeah.
I am a hoe.
Did you say you're a hoe? Okay.
Me too, man.
Sam
It's
and
okay.
I, we're not a fan. Jonathan Morrison, I'm going to guess you don't care.
Like, I'm gonna weirdly give the boring answer of like the intricacies of life and everything's not black and white again, because like I just feel like it's very polarizing, where you either have to be like an Elon stan or you have to like completely hate his guts. And in general, Elon frustrates me because
exactly. Thank you. We're in the same camp. That's what I tried to explain last week, that I like Elon for the most part. I think that he does a lot of great stuff. I don't think he should own Twitter. That's just like, and people don't see that. You either really love Elon and he can do no wrong, he is God, or if you say anything negative about him ever, you just hate free speech and you suck.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't think it's that simple. Because like it's almost like I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, but there's a specific scene where like she wants him to want to wash dishes, and like the difference of like actually wanting to do something and like just kind of not wanting but doing it anyways. And like I so desperately just want Elon to just be cool, and it's like, bro, you like, Teslas are amazing cars, like SpaceX, like there's so many great things that if you just stopped being a dickhead sometimes, you literally could be a Tony Stark, but Tony Stark wouldn't tweet about Bill Gates and a boner, it's just,
that was so weird.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't know, especially after the pandemic in 2020, more than ever, I'm like, is this a simulation? And after seeing the stuff that goes up, and I think the sentiment I will end with for me and Elon and Twitter is I genuinely like don't want it to fail. I hope he much like Tesla, I hope he can continue to do his bad takes and not screw a product up, you know?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I hope he does well with it. I just
Mhm.
I just he frustrates me because he has the power to do so much good, and it ends up just becoming honestly the giant takeaway out of this whole situation, especially with him and Bill Gates, is that it's just one giant dick measuring contest between these people with way too much money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no one actually cares, and it's just, you know,
Except
everybody
them.
right.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't like that tweet either. But there's so many people that are like, yeah, the person that can buy Twitter and be in charge of all of us is okay with tweeting stuff like that. Yeah. And then it makes everyone else tweet shit like that. And everyone's just collectively an asshole.
And like it's also like you said, Jonathan, like of course everything is more nuanced, but like it also goes back to like Elon Musk literally called a person a pedophile and paid him millions of dollars in court, losing to a man who was not a pedophile, just so that people would believe, because the guy said one main thing to him, that he was a pedophile. Like, this man spent millions of dollars, like, just to say fuck you money, to stop someone. Like, that's what concerns me about Twitter. If he's
Sure.
going to spend millions on one guy, like, what? He says it's free speech, but he can. Okay, you don't like Tesla? Tesla tweets are downranked
he
now,
also
even though the algorithm's open source. What does the algorithm?
He's also
open source
very well known
mean?
for blocking people. Like, he talks about, it's all about free speech, and now he's in charge of the platform. He tweeted fucking today that even his worst critics, I hope that, you know, that he knows that they can say whatever they want and they stay on Twitter, because that's what free speech means. Bro, when it wasn't yours, you were blocking everyone that said stuff you
Yeah.
didn't like.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Where, like, if the proof was there, I wouldn't have concerns. But the proof has not been there at all, and that's
Even if
why
he's
I am
great, though. Like,
I'm more concerned than I am excited. Like, I by no means want this to go bad. I'm not like, well, I don't like him, so I want him to look bad. No, like, I love Twitter. I want Twitter to succeed more than most people. Like, it is by far my favorite place to be. It's like where I feel like I have a community. But
And
I'm
you
also like,
yell at Golden Boys for tweeting about
yeah. It's your
Wait,
access
what's-
to Jonathan Morrison tweets.
yeah, like, where am I gonna like get mad at Jonathan Morrison at? In real person? No, he's bigger than me. He'll fucking smoke me.
On
like,
MySpace?
yeah.
The thing is, I'll say, is it can't be worse than Facebook.
Oh, sometimes I forget that Facebook even exists. I forget that
Dude,
they're
let's
still
shout
doing
out
that
to
over
the
there.
shout out to the Facebook defenders. Honestly,
Yeah, the people keeping that alive. Okay. Even if Elon was great, like, I just have a major problem. It doesn't feel good in my bones that a single person can take a social platform like Twitter, a massive social platform, can take it private and just sort of own the whole thing. And and we talked about this before, but on the show, but you know, from what we understand, he has Asperger's, and that influences a lot of, like, people with Asperger's. The people that I know are absolute fucking geniuses, like, on a whole other level. And I think that's a major reason why he is where he is. It's like, on SNL, he came out and said it like it was not that it was a bad thing, but there's a lot of stigma around that stuff, and it makes the dude a fucking genius. He's a genius already, but he's like on another level. But he's also shown us that he doesn't understand what's socially acceptable, and he says stuff that there's no filter, and it's kind of for the wrong reasons, and he's socially awkward, and then that guy is now in charge of the entire social platform. And I think he's got a lot to learn. I hope that his first day into this stuff, he starts taking notes, because it's not Tesla, it's not SpaceX. Like, this is a business that is just people, and that's the whole thing, and it's managing people. And he thinks he has the proper idea of how to manage people, which is why he bought it in the first place. But it just rubs me the wrong way that a singular human can just buy it out, and now he owns the whole thing. And that's it. That's kind of it. But I mean, that's capitalism for you. And I like I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Twitter does. I like even banning Trump. I'm not a fan of Trump, but even banning Trump, I'm just like, I don't think that a social platform should just be able to deplatform people like that and just remove people or silence conservative voices and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I've been on record saying Twitter can do whatever the fuck they want. It's their platform. I don't agree with it, but they can do whatever they want, and they should do whatever they want. So it's not I don't think the conversation is necessarily about free speech. For me, it's just about the singular person owning this entire platform. It hurts my soul.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you want to buy it?
I do not have $43 billion, but if I did, I don't think I would buy Twitter.
You wouldn't? You'd spend
That
it
would
on
be the
something
first thing you
better?
did.
No.
But dude, then you could block people like me who would comment back on your tweets.
It was cooler to chat with you and like,
Honestly, you're right. It is more fun to just talk.
So all in all, I'm not a fan of Elon having Twitter. Jonathan, you're just kind of like, you just want to see where it goes.
Could go well, it could go bad.
No, I just think at the end of it, it's the same thing, in a different light, right? It's Bezos owning Amazon, which has obviously taken a grip on the entire way. Like the way we Google something is the way we Amazon something, and it's at the end of it. That's my takeaway. Yeah. There's people with way too much money, and I think we need to do our best job of trying to hold those people accountable. And I don't know. I feel like there's going to be the loud people I don't agree with, and the thing is that those people were always there, right? And they just have a place to talk about it now. So like I said, Elon in general, he frustrates me because there's so much potential there, and it's usually just like, oh, bro, like
Yeah.
if any of us acted like that, or anybody else, right? Could you imagine if Tim Cook did that, or literally anybody else? Like it would be if Bezos did that, like it would be just a different.
He would get dunked on,
right? But it's a little bit of the Kanye of like, oh, it's just Elon. He's being Elon,
or like they're a genius, so this behavior is okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Which it's not, but there is a separation.
But if you have enough money, it's okay. Apparently, that's how that works in the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, he also is the richest person in the world, so like that, a lot of people just like, oh, it's amazing. Like, they just look up to that because they want that.
Yeah,
which is understandable.
So in 1 year, Twitter's in a better place or in a worse place? What do we think?
I don't know.
No fence sitting. You have to guess. You have to pick one.
I think Twitter is in a better place with a strong possibility of people that shouldn't be talking amplified, is my thought.
Okay. Sam?
My gut says worse for the same reason.
Oh, so you agree, but you think that outweighs any good?
Yeah, just because right now I think Twitter. I mean, I'm this is also coming from my perspective. I think Twitter's been fine. I didn't see a problem with Twitter right now.
But
I'm also go ahead.
I think overall Twitter will be in a slightly worse place, but with potential to recover. I think we're about to watch a man with no understanding of this social platform learn as he goes, and we are all the guinea pigs. And so, I mean, I'm not going to leave Twitter. I hate that too, where people are like, I'm leaving. Bro, where the fuck are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Truth Social? Or what's another one? Like Gutter or something? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. But that's what it is, man. You got to find that peace, right? Like if Elon shut Twitter down tomorrow, we'll find a way.
Bro, I'd be so sad. I just got verified last year.
Bro,
give me a couple years to enjoy the check, man.
Newsletter, my friend.
It's a made up thing. It's a made up check mark.
No, that I'm memeing about that part. I just that's how I cover it. Well, no, do I enjoy the check mark? But that's not why I'd be sad if it went away. I'd be sad if it went away because like that has been how I get news and how I do my job.
Elon's first act of business: give everyone a check mark, take Sam's away.
I mean,
Yeah.
that as long as I can still get my news and follow the websites and the people that I care about, that's why I love Twitter. Because it's just how I get it's all my information. Second it's out, instant gratification. I fucking love Twitter, dude. Take my check mark away tomorrow. I don't
the
care.
CFO of Twitter follows me for I don't know why, and he was freaking out all day because everyone's asking him, like, when the news was coming in, like, it's gonna happen, maybe it's gonna happen. Sources say, and he was losing his goddamn mind. Like, I wanted to ask him about if he had any comments for Front Page Tech or whatever. He's like, dude, I don't fucking know. Nobody knows. And so I'm just like, all right, man, that's fine. That's fine. And I feel bad for the employees because they really had no idea either. And I feel like we're about to see a bunch of people leave.
But that's the thing, right? Is there's probably a huge level of humanity and a lot of people who have no idea what is going on.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people just trying to figure things out.
Yeah. All right. On that note.
Well, Jonathan Morrison, man.
Jonathan Morrison. Yay!
What is there to say about this guy?
Every time we see people complaining under your tweets, we're just gonna send them this video. I think this covers everything.
Okay.
It was a great conversation, and I feel like I learned a lot. And I was going to DM you this after the show, but I just want to tell it to you in person. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm very immensely grateful that you came on our show, and I would love to learn alongside you at some point, hang out, visit, and I think you're a great creative mind. And I love what you're doing, and I respect you a lot, man.
Thank you, man. And I appreciate you guys taking the time. And please work at finding both of you, whatever it is that next step is. And
I'm trying to learn music, bro. Help me. I need help.
What are you trying to learn?
Well, I want to learn how to like program drums this week because like I've always been really bad at that. I can never like get a pattern down. So that's like my next.
Are you in Logic?
Yeah, I love Logic.
Bro, I play drums. Let's just start a band together and
guys,
leave this YouTube shit behind.
Yeah. Let's go on the road, man.
Well, we'll have a music conversation next time. But
okay.
Yeah, appreciate you guys and thanks for hearing the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Please change your Twitter name to like John Apple Golden Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I really appreciate it. And it was really good. I really like that you were like, no, just fucking give it to me. You weren't shy.
Yeah.
So which is fun because that's like one of the biggest complaints about you online overall. Like that everyone that has a problem with you says the same shit. It's like just reiterate. It's a list of like 3 things, and we covered it all here. And I'm glad we did.
And next time I'll be on the hot plate when I come on your podcast, Jonathan. You can be like, on April 29th, you tweeted.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care, man.
Tweet whatever you want.
You're just like, why do these boys care this much? Like, I'm just having fun. I just make stuff. That's the piece, bro. That's the piece.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. We'll catch you next week. We'll cover your voicemails then and all that other stuff. Yeah.
You guys are the best. Thank you for listening. Go follow Jonathan at TLDToday on Twitter. Jonathan Morrison on YouTube.
Bye.
Oh, man. Follow him, Jonathan Friends music channel. He's doing cool music shit. Really cool music shit. Jonathan Friends. 200,000 plus listeners on Spotify. No other tech YouTuber can say that. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.